Here is a live update from Force 13 HQ on the latest developments in the Atlantic right now. I won't be staying here for long. It will be a short update broadcast here and shown on YouTube later on as a recorded video. At this point, the time is just coming up to 3 p.m. UTC, 11 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time, and Hurricane Irma has weakened slightly to 175 miles per hour and a pressure of 921 millibars. It's still an extremely dangerous hurricane, and it's heading for the Turks and Caicos Islands just north of Hispaniola at this time. Hurricane and storm surge watches have just been issued for portions of South Florida and the Florida Keys. A storm surge watch has been issued for the Florida Peninsula from Jupiter Inlet southward and around the peninsula to Bonita Beach, including the Florida Keys. A hurricane watch has been issued for the Florida Peninsula from Jupiter Inlet southward and around the peninsula to Bonita Beach, including the Florida Keys, Lake Okeechobee, and Florida Bay. The government of Cuba has extended the tropical storm warning to Villa Clara province. Here's a summary of all the warnings and watches that are in effect for Hurricane Irma. A storm surge watch is in effect for Jupiter Inlet southward around the Florida Peninsula to Bonita Beach and the Florida Keys. A hurricane warning is in effect for the Dominican Republic from Cabo Engano to the northern border with Haiti, Haiti from the northern border with the Dominican Republic to Limol San Nicolas, southeastern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the rest of the Bahamas. A hurricane watch is in effect for Jupiter Inlet southward around the Florida Peninsula to Bonita Beach, the Florida Keys, Lake Okeechobee, Florida Bay, and Cuba from Matanzas province eastward to Guantanamo province. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the Dominican Republic from south of Cabo Engano westward to the southern border with Haiti, Haiti from south of Limol San Nicolas to Port-au-Prince, and Cuba provinces of Guantanamo, Holguin, Las Tunas, Camagüey, Ciego de Avila, Sancti Spiritus, and Villa Clara. A storm surge watch means that there is a possibility of life-threatening inundation from rising water moving inland from the coastline in the indicated locations during the next 48 hours. I will now see whether the National Hurricane Center has updated their forecast map for the Florida area. They haven't at this point. But this is what the last warning map looked like, and the track forecast as well for the storm as it heads towards the west-northwest. Pardon the dog in the background, it's not mine or anything to do with me. But as you can see, the storm's expected to move towards the north along the eastern coast of Florida and then make landfall perhaps maybe further north, and it's always shades of Matthew, isn't it, when you think about this, of last year, and it's sort of getting into that territory that Matthew ventured into not so very long ago. In the meantime, the warnings have been lifted for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. However, we have something else behind that, which will cause some more issues potentially. The latest is that Hurricane Jose now has winds of 90 miles per hour and a pressure of 986 millibars, and the government of Antigua has just issued a hurricane watch for the islands of Antigua and Barbuda, shown on the graphic. The government of Antigua has issued a tropical storm watch for the islands of Anguilla, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis. The government of the Netherlands has issued a tropical storm watch for the islands of Saba and St. Eustatius. So again, these areas are under hurricane and tropical storm watches, which is the last thing that you would need in those areas. Notably, Barbuda, forecasted by some of the models and by the National Hurricane Center's cone, has Jose being a major hurricane within 50 miles of the coast of Barbuda, which of course was absolutely obliterated by Hurricane Irma just 2 or 3 days ago. And Hurricane Katia also has some warnings in effect for it right now. It's stationary at present with winds of 80 miles per hour. A hurricane warning is in effect for Cabo Rojo to Laguna Verde, a tropical storm warning for north of Cabo Rojo to Rio Panuco, and south of Laguna Verde to Puerto Veracruz. This storm could produce 5 to 7 feet of storm surge, and in terms of rainfall, it could be 10 to 15 inches over northern Veracruz and eastern Hidalgo, Puebla, and San Luis Potosi. Isolated maximum amounts of 25 inches are possible in northern Veracruz and eastern Hidalgo, Puebla, and San Luis Potosi. That's the latest on Katia. Let's go back to the satellite imagery of Irma right now as it continues on its venture towards the west-northwest. Let's take a look at, if possible, to some... here it is, a progression of imagery from RAM, and you can see how it's been moving in the last few frames, and slight weakening has been occurring, possibly due to its land interaction and proximity to land in Hispaniola. The Dominican Republic may well be seeing hurricane conditions from this storm right now. It passed Puerto Rico earlier today and last night, and now it's headed towards the Turks and Caicos Islands, which are next in line and are very close to the storm and will be drawing ever closer. The northern coast of Haiti is also a significant concern right now. I want to read some more some more information at this point. In terms of storm surge, you could be looking at these amounts on the following locations. In the Turks and Caicos Islands, 15 to 20 feet. The southeastern and central Bahamas, 15 to 20 feet. The northwestern Bahamas, 5 to 10 feet. The northern coast of the Dominican Republic, 3 to 5 feet. The northern coast of Haiti and the Gulf of Gonave, 1 to 3 feet. The northern coast of Cuba in the warning area, 5 to 10 feet. In terms of rainfall, northeast Puerto Rico and the British US Virgin Islands an additional 2 to 4 inches, isolated to 6. Much of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands 8 to 12 inches, isolated up to 20. Andros Island and Bimini Bahamas 12 to 16 inches, isolated 25. The northern Dominican Republic and northern Haiti 4 to 10 inches, isolated 15. The southern Dominican Republic and southern Haiti 2 to 5 inches. Eastern and central Cuba 4 to 10 inches, isolated amounts to 15. Southeast Florida and the upper Florida Keys 8 to 12 inches, isolated 20. The lower Florida Keys 2 to 5 inches. And obviously we will be looking at a significant storm surge in Florida as well, but they have not yet specified how much will be expected. Let's see if the map has updated. It has. Here it is right now, and what's to be expected in the next 5 days. The National Hurricane Center still thinks that the storm will retain major hurricane status right through the coast of Cuba, by the looks of things very close to the coast there, and then northwards towards the southeastern part of Florida, still hinting at a Category 4 landfall in southeastern Florida near Miami-Dade. And also, currently it's predicting that the storm will still be of winds of 125 miles an hour at the next point on that forecast by 8 a.m. Monday, not far off the coast of Jacksonville. And then it will move inland, perhaps near the Georgia-South Carolina border. But don't forget the cone there and how wide the cone is, but also how much areas outside of the cone may be affected by the storm as well. When you take a look at it, the tropical storm force wind field marked in yellow around the storm's current position is wider than the 3-day track forecast cone as an entirety. So that's something to consider. For instance, if it went to the western extremity of the forecast cone, which it could well do in track, the whole of the Florida Keys would have tropical storm force winds. If it was to venture all the way to the east of the forecast cone, you would see all of the Bahamas under tropical storm force winds and many of them under hurricane force winds, and Florida would not receive hurricane force winds. Or it could land anywhere in between, and we'll have to see what will result of this storm. So there are 3 hurricanes active right now in the Atlantic, and there are watches and warnings out for all of them. To reiterate what those warnings are right now that have just been issued. First of all, Irma, which is quite lengthy. A storm surge watch in effect for Jupiter Inlet southward around the Florida Peninsula to Bonita Beach and the Florida Keys. A hurricane warning for the Dominican Republic from Cabo Engano to the northern border with Haiti. Haiti from the northern border with the Dominican Republic to Limol San Nicolas, southeastern Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the rest of the Bahamas. A hurricane watch for Jupiter Inlet southward around the Florida Peninsula to Bonita Beach, the Florida Keys, Lake Okeechobee, Florida Bay, and Cuba from Matanzas Province eastward to Guantanamo Province. A tropical storm warning for the Dominican Republic from south of Cabo Engano westward to the southern border with Haiti, Haiti from south of Limol San Nicolas to Port-au-Prince, and Cuba provinces of Guantanamo, Holguin, Las Tunas, Camagüey, Ciego de Avila, Sancti Spiritus, and Villa Clara. For Hurricane Jose, a hurricane watch has been issued for Antigua and Barbuda. A tropical storm watch has been issued for Anguilla, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, Saba and St. Eustatius. For Katia, a hurricane warning is in effect for Cabo Rojo to Laguna Verde, and a tropical storm warning is in effect for north of Cabo Rojo to Rio Panuco and south of Laguna Verde to Puerto Veracruz. That's all for now. We will have more live and recorded updates later on today.